The message of impermanence. What hope there is in death. Look still deeper into impermanence, and you will find it has another message, another face, one of great hope, one that opens your eyes to the fundamental nature of the universe and our extraordinary relationship to it. If everything is impermanent, then everything is what we call empty, which means lacking in any lasting, stable, and inherent existence. And all things, when seen and understood in their true relation, are not independent, but interdependent with all other things. The Buddha compared the universe to a vast net woven of countless variety of brilliant jewels, each with a countless number of facets. Each jewel reflects in itself every other jewel in the net, and is, in fact, one with every other jewel. Think of a wave in the sea. Seen in one way, it seems to have a distinct identity, an end and a beginning, a birth and a death. Seen in another way, the wave itself doesn't really exist, but is just the behavior of water, empty of any separate identity, but full of water. So when you really think about the wave, you come to realize that it is something made temporarily possible by wind and water, and that it is dependent on a set of constantly changing circumstances. You also realize that every wave is related to every other wave. Nothing has any inherent existence of its own when you really look at it. And this absence of independent existence is what we call emptiness. Think of a tree. When you think of a tree, you tend to think of a distinctly defined object. And on a certain level, like a wave, it is. But when you look more closely at the tree, you will see that ultimately it has no independent existence. When you contemplate it, you will find that it dissolves in an extremely subtle net of relationships that stretches across the universe. The rain that falls on the leaves, the wind that sways it, the soil that nourishes and sustains it, all the seasons and the weather, the moonlight and the starlight and the sunlight, all form part of this tree. As you begin to think about the tree more and more, you will discover that everything in the universe helps to make the tree what it is, that it cannot at any moment be isolated from anything else, and that every moment its nature is subtly changing. This is what we mean when we say things are empty, that they have no independent existence. Modern science speaks to us of an extraordinary range of interrelations. Ecologists know that a tree burning in the Amazon rainforest alters in some way the air breathed by a citizen of Paris, and that the trembling of a butterfly's wing in the Yucatan affects the life of a fern in the Hebrides. Biologists are beginning to uncover the fantastic and complex dance of genes that creates personality and identity, a dance that stretches far into the past and shows that each so-called identity is composed of a swirl of different influences. Physicists have introduced us to the world of the quantum particle, a world astonishingly like that described by Buddha in his image of the glittering net that unfolds across the universe. Just like the jewels in the net, all particles exist potentially as different combinations of other particles. So when we really look at ourselves then, and the things around us that we took to be so solid, so stable and lasting, we find that they have no more reality than a dream. Buddha said, Know all things to be like this: a mirage, a cloud castle, a dream, an apparition, without essence, but with qualities that can be seen. Know all things to be like this, as the moon in a bright sky in some clear lake reflected, though to that lake the moon has never moved. Know all things to be like this, an echo that derives from music, sounds, and weeping, yet in that echo is no melody. Know all things to be like this, as a magician makes illusions of horses, oxen, carts, and other things. Nothing is as it appears. Contemplation of this dreamlike quality of reality need not in any way make us cold, hopeless, or embittered. On the contrary, it can open up in us a warm humor, a soft, strong compassion we hardly knew we possessed, and so more and more generosity toward all things and beings. The great Tibetan Saint Milarepa said, "Seeing emptiness, have compassion." When through contemplation we really have seen the emptiness and interdependence of all things and ourselves, the world is revealed in a brighter, fresher, more sparkling light, as the infinitely reflecting net of jewels that Buddha spoke of. We no longer have to protect ourselves or pretend, and it becomes increasingly easy to do what one Tibetan master has advised. Always recognize the dreamlike qualities of life and reduce attachment and aversion. Practice good-heartedness toward all beings. Be loving and compassionate, no matter what others do to you. What they will do will not matter so much when you see it as a dream. The trick is to have positive intention during the dream. This is the essential point. This is true spirituality. True spirituality also is to be aware that if we are interdependent with everything and everyone else, even our smallest, least significant thought, word, and action have real consequences throughout the universe. Throw a pebble into a pond. It sends a shiver across the surface of the water. Ripples merge into one another and create new ones. Everything is inextricably interrelated. We come to realize we are responsible for everything we do, say, or think. Responsible, in fact, for ourselves, everyone, and everything else, and the entire universe. The Lama has said, in today's highly interdependent world, individuals and nations can no longer resolve many of its problems by themselves. We need one another. We must therefore develop a sense of universal responsibility. It is our collective and individual responsibility to protect and nurture the global family, to support its weaker members, and to preserve and tend to the environment in which we all live.